Welcome into the Stanford Cardinal Dynasty, as for the first time in Season 6, we return home to Palo Alto, and we have another top 25 matchup, this time against the Utah Utes. But after opening the season in the top 10, the Cardinal have slowly dropped all the way down, almost out of the top 25, really thanks to the Georgia and TCU loss. Against Georgia, the offense barely were able to put up any points. In fact, it was 2 field goals, a safety, and a pick 2, which were the only points for the Cardinal. Against Georgia, Gordon Draft got the start. He did not throw a touchdown, he threw 3 interceptions. But the defense, they were flying around. They were making a lot of plays in the backfield, TFLs, picking up some sacks. However, they did not force any turnovers. Against TCU, it was almost the opposite. The offense, they put up 21 points, but the defense gave up 42. It was a better day from Gordon Draft, though turnovers still present in his game. Montrell Avant, he got the running game going, and we had 2 receivers over 100 yards. But the defense gave up 4 touchdowns and 361 yards to Ben Moncrief. And on top of that, the running game, while it was slow at first, really helped polish off the game. And coming off the bye, there was some talk around the quarterback spot, and Coach Barrington talked about that in press conferences leading up to this game, where he did state we will still see Gordon Draft, but they did some self-scouting, and the coaches all voted that we would see a little bit of both Montrell Avant and Gordon Draft. So to the practice field they went, trying to nail in the offense. And we saw some really good passing plays out there, both with Gordon Draft as well as with Montrell Avant. Draft will be able to use a lot more in what he's best at, which is the running game. We also saw a little bit of some change-up happening at the receiver position, as that wide receiver 3 has been a little bit under question. We've seen Lanier out there, he hasn't done much. So the coaches got a better look at Ben Vallejo in the slot. He made a couple big plays. And we also got to see a little bit of George Ball, who's a bit more of the outside receiver. But Coach Barrington still very much expects the running game to be a key part moving forward. And to help that out, they have made some changes to the offensive tackle spots. Starting at left tackle will be Miles Vaughn. He's taking over for Emmanuel Ahala, who's moving over to right tackle, taking over for Jaden Deere, who's already given up 5 sacks this year. And with these changes, Coach Barrington hopes to prove that his team has got what it takes to climb back up in the top 25 as we get Pac-12 underway with a awful kickoff from Vitali Mays. We have not seen bad special teams from the Cardinal this year, but that one very much so, as it's starting at the 40 for the Utes, down the middle with a gain of 1. It's linebacker James Tuttle with the stop, and a 2nd and 9 as they're going to motion out the running back this time, looking to set up the pass, double move, and underthrowing his in-cutting receiver. Now for the Utes, who are 3-1 on the season, they've had a lot of offensive explosions. Their defense has had some alright games, but it's a stop by our defense. Cantwell picks up the sack, and that's a much better drive here from the defense than we saw entirely last week. And after the horrific kickoff by Mays, Utah loses 4, and they punt the ball away. Now time for the offense to hit the field, and it will be Gordon Draft leading him out to start. We'll see how often they decide to switch in that 2 QB system as they take it down the middle with Dog. As mentioned, he had a really good game last week, 80 yards, and he hopes to get himself into the end zone a little bit more, not converting on 2nd. Refs mark it a 3rd and inches, and Thompson checks in the backfield. It's a shotgun look. He keeps it down the middle. He's got the first down, about a gain of 5. And one of the things that we had seen throughout the time of when Montrell Avant was out at quarterback was he suffered with injuries. Hopefully with these split snaps, that's not a problem. As Draft throws, he finds Blouse, who bounced off the weak tackle attempt. Gets his Cardinal all the way down to the 26-yard line. He not too happy with how the offense worked the last couple games, hasn't been a huge part of it. He looks to have a bigger part, so does Dog, as he's showing off the strength, rumbling down to the 8. There was a lot of expectation with him taking over at that starting running back spot this year. As they look for the wide receiver screen, it's out to Lanier, who is still getting the start, spin move, and touchdown. Well, we're going to see a rotation at that receiver spot. Lanier helping himself out as the Cardinal get into the end zone. Perhaps they just needed to return to Palo Alto to get their game going. But overall, a great start for the Cardinal and finally a good kickoff. They find themselves up 7-0 as Utah takes over at the 25. Looking to pass the ball under pressure, it's Sony Fotu. And a sack on back-to-back defensive plays for the Card. And for Alma, who has had a great start to the year, 11 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, a little bit of a slow start as they get Shaughnessy to the outside. A flag comes in, which will negate a really good run of about 15, maybe even more yards. But it was a left tackle who held on the play that actually sprung the play, so 2nd and 25 instead. As they go read option, Sony Fotu plants Halma in the backfield. A massive loss, now 3rd and 29. They're almost inside their own 5. Sampson with a rush, ball is out. They will get their tight end who will pick up a good chunk, but still 13 away from the line to gain. With a 7-0 lead and starting at the 40, a great opportunity for the Cardinal. As they look to start with a run, stretch to the outside, Dog, only one. Good contain on the outside. Still at the 40, so not really a gain of 1. As Draft, he's dropping back, throwing to the outside, he's looking for Gomez, but he's off the mark. That time put just a little too much on the pass. That was not the problem the last couple weeks. Passes came up short. Back to the outside, he gets Blouse. And so far, no appearance of Montrell Avant. We'll see what Coach Barrington's plan is with the QB switching. As Dog takes a little shot forward. Will end up being a gain of 5 for the Cardinal as they're in the plus side at the 44. Motion right side is Moses. Thrown to the flat, they get Kramer, the tight end / fullback, who will squeeze out the first. Just having that little extra speed at the fullback spot has really helped out this Cardinal offense. The 1st and 10, they stretch it to the outside, and Dog could have bounced it further. Instead, Gary, he makes the tackle. One of the top corners here for the Utah Utes. It's only a gain of 2. The heavy tight end look, and chucking this one downfield. Hit takes off a good chunk of it. It's picked off and staying on his feet. Bounces to the outside and taking it to the 20. That's been the problem for Gordon Draft this year. Not necessarily bad throws. He just gets hit. The time of the throw comes up a little bit short. Ultimately, a little bit of unluckiness for the quarterback. But Scioli, the safety of the Utes, he's feeling pretty lucky. They take over at the 19. Single back set is Shaughnessy, who takes the handoff, and he will rumble for 4. He's had a pretty good start to his season as well. Both the passing game and running game for Utah has been really good. It's their defense and special teams that have let them down at points this year, though 3-1. Not too big of a letdown. 1st down, Shaughnessy. After that run, he'll head to the sideline. They check in their backup here in 27, Stepnoski. But it's going to take us to the end of the break, so we'll see if he gets a carry in this one. But a 7-0 Cardinal lead as we end the first quarter. -1 rushing yards for Utah, 70 yards passing. Meanwhile, the Cardinal total about 90 offensive yards. That's why they lead this game. They would be up potentially 2 scores if not for the turnover. Cantwell with the stop. Good start to the second quarter, no gain. As Halma with trips to the right-hand side here, Stepnoski steps back out onto the field as he looks to get to the outside. Sampson slows him down, but no help comes in. A nice run of 9. And a perfect example of why you've got to wrap up. Leaves just 3rd and 1. And read option, Halma, he gets to the outside. Markuk will bring him down into plus territory. His 1st and 10 of the 47. As they hand it back off. Slipping 1, but not going to get by the next 3. Utah not doing too much to spread the ball downfield. They do spread out the defense here with a shotgun look. Stepnoski cuts back right and is tracked down by Markuk. Brings up yet another 3rd down here. They need 6. As Halma will look to throw into the outside. Stepnoski chopped down Harulahu. However, with a 4th and 1, the offense stays out on the field. Schlegel coming down from the safety spot. They will look to throw the ball, and Sony Fotu crunches him down. It will be a turnover on downs. Cardinal will take over at the 42. No points come off the turnover from Gordon Draft. He stays out there at quarterback. And Nenny with a motion here as they look to go to dog. No space on the outside or inside. Ultimately ends up being a loss of 2. 2nd and 12. Now Moses in the slot. He motions over. Taking the jet sweep. Bounces to the outside. Gomez with a block downfield. He bounces around it. 30 and pushed out at the 20. Big gain for Moses. And just like the running backs, he really is a freight train when he gets out in open space. Not much agility. Just a big body guy who could run fast. As Dog takes the carry here. Shakes off the corner. And it'll be a gain of 2. Thompson checks in to follow. And he takes the handoff. Flag down immediately. Not much space to run either. A negative play here as they're going to get Fowler with the hold. There's too many negative plays for the Stanford offensive line. 1st and now 18 at the 28. As it's play action. Bouncing to the outside and looking to run goes Draft, who will peel out, leaving 5. 3rd down at the 15. Cardinal come out with 2 to the right-hand side, 2 tight ends to the left. Draft, he drops back, throws across the middle, and dropped by Nenny down around the 3. A big missed opportunity, but they're going with the fake, throwing, and it's dropped by Gomez. In and out of his hands 2 to 3 times. A risky call early on in this game. Well, we say early on, about 3.5 minutes left in the first half, but an opportunity definitely missed to go up 2 scores. They handed off Stepnoski, he picks up 4. Granted, we all know that Coach Barrington is one of the more aggressive play callers here in college football. 2nd and 6, they go with the play action. No time, Carlisle can't get the sack, a huge block in the back. That's gonna spring Halma down the field. A big 1st down. But arguably one that should have never happened. The tackle comes in and with a shoulder takes it into the back of Henderson, which then opens up the window. I don't know if the refs need a reminder, but they are in Palo Alto right now, not in Utah. 1st and 10 for the Utes, as it is read option, spinning around Kiki. Drag down, gain of 7. Now, Halma has definitely been a good scrambler this year for the Utah Utes. 2nd in their rushing yards in total. They go with the tight end screen, getting to the outside, but chopped down. A limited gain, but enough for the 1st down. The 2-minute warning arrives. Thrown to the outside. It's broken up by Asher. Lucky that he arrived on the outside rather than the inside for Halma. 2nd and 10, facing the blitz. He throws and caught. 1st down. Tim Easy there in coverage, but wasn't too easy for him to break that one up. 1st and 10, looking to throw downfield. They stretch it. Big hit from Asher. Alex Abraham, the tight end, holds on. 1st and 10. As they move inside the 25 here, about a minute left. Halma checks it into the turf. Well, that one might have been assisted by the hit from Cantwell. 2nd and 10. They throw to the outside, and Shaughnessy's out of bounds. It's good enough for a gain of 7 along the way. 3rd and 3. A chance to force a field goal here. To the outside, Abraham dropped by Smith. And after all of that, they do let the clock run. Stanford does not call a timeout. Their kicker here has only made 1 of 3 field goals this year, and he doinks it off the upright. No good. Make that 1 of 4. Stanford still on top here, 7-0. A huge miss for the Utah Utes that ends what was a very promising drive. Stanford can head out starting at the 20, and it's going to be Montrell Avant. With limited time, he does have the better passing ability. As he looks for it here, he finds Lanier, who turns down the sideline, scampers out at about midfield. With his job on the line, he's putting together his best game of the season. Isn't a plus side. 1 receiver either side, and motion in the backfield goes Nenny. Looks for play action. And a pass downfield is dropped by Gomez. He showed promise the last couple weeks, missing his first 2 opportunities in this one. Now 11 seconds. They do have their own young kicker as well. As Avant looks to scramble, he powers forward for the first down. A timeout called there. 6 seconds left before half. And down to the 38. They keep the offense out there, trying to perhaps get a little bit closer. As Avant scrambles, he's down, and a timeout comes with maybe 0.2 seconds left. But it does set up a more straight-ahead field goal opportunity. And that one looks perfect right down the middle. Cardinal will take a 10-0 lead into halftime. 25 currently up on 19. Stanford versus Utah as Ritter hits the field goal. But ultimately, the Cardinal have left a couple plays out on the field. Defense, they're looking, for the most part, pretty good. They got lucky with a missed field goal from Utah that kept them with a goose egg in the first half. But outside of that one drive, they locked him down. Stanford, they've had some pretty good drives. A turnover from Gordon Draft, the only real mistake that they've had in the first half. Defense, especially up front, has gotten after Halma. A lucky not call on the block in the back really opened up that big drive for him. Should have ended there. Lanier's getting the game going. A couple nice passes out to Blouse on the curls. And on top of that, the running game has looked very good for the Stanford Cardinal. And it will be the Stanford Cardinal offense leading us into the second half. Starting at the 19 is a handoff with a big open lane. Dog rumbles for 13. With that, he needs just 23 more yards in this second half to reach the century mark. They go right back his way, and he's going to pick up almost half of it there. The senior back out of Hawaii putting in work here. Though he's going to catch his breather with the 1st and 10 of the 44. Thompson checks in. Motion is Moses on that right-hand side. And throwing downfield, caught finally, Gomez. Brings one in. That's got to be his 3rd target. That's about what he averages per game, so good he grabs that one. It's a gain of about 20. It is Montrell Avant starting at quarterback, who tried to get rid of it late, ends up tucking it. And John Cleveland brings him down for a loss of 7. Back to the single back set here with Dog. Motioning into the backfield is Aneni. As they go play action, looking to the outside and swat it away. Honestly, Avant got to feel pretty lucky that one was not picked off. It's 3rd and 17. And a pass downfield for Ball. Tiptoeing out at the 3. He brings it in. And that came from a play starting in the slot. Typically not the case for him, more of an outside receiver. Gets his team down to the 3-yard line. 1st and goal. The heavy set comes on out. Big block from Kramer, and Dog takes it to the end zone. A 17-0 lead for the Stanford Cardinal as they open up the second half with another touchdown drive. And that one massively set up by a huge 3rd down conversion. It's going to be starting at the 17, down 17 for Utah. RPO to the outside, a nice gain for Drake. Credit him with 9. When Halma's had time, he's looked very good back there. But that pressure has caused a little bit of some hiccups from him time to time. As they get motion into the backfield, their own tight end / fullback, Shaughnessy, he picks up the 1st. Hard-earned 2 yards there as senior, the non-senior linebacker makes the tackle. 1st and 10, and now RPO again. Pass downfield is caught, flag back in the backfield. This one looks to be headed back. They catch their left tackle getting a little too excited on that one, blocking downfield. Makes it 1st and 15 rather than a 1st and 10, 15 yards downfield. And Drake breaks the tackle again, not containing on the outside. Though that time, either Kiki or Carlisle who did not do so. We saw that happen earlier with Sampson. 2nd and 10 now. Motion on the left-hand side is Drake. They look to pass the ball to the flat, and getting by the 1st defender, not by Asher. It brings up a 3rd and 6. They bring Stepnoski onto the field here, looking to run it 3rd and 6, and it's wide open for the 1st down. They ran it into the double A gap, and it ends up being a perfect decision. 1st and 10, Utes. Motion again to that backfield, and they go right back to Shaughnessy back on the field, overstepping the weak tackle and picking up a gain of 7. Look his way again, and again he steps over the tackle. Cardinals got to stay up. Too many diving tackle attempts have left a lot of broken tackles on the field. Shaughnessy now down the middle. A missed tackle from the safety in Schlegel. It's another big run. And they bring out a third running back here. A new guy to see if they go at. Tight end going to motion to the right-hand side. And it's read option. Senior with a tackle. Potentially a touchdown saving tackle. Only a gain of 2, leave 2nd and 8. They got 2 receivers to the right-hand side, 1 in motion. And they go with the underneath dump off. It's Abraham down to the 11. So far, a strong drive here from the Utah Utes trying to answer back down 17. Abraham motions to the right-hand side, and they hand it off. A quick tackle comes in. It is Rose. Boom. But Sony Fotu is down on the play. So one senior makes a big play, the other one exits. Rashad Lord will come in to fill in for the injured Sony Fotu. They hand it off to the outside, breaking the tackle, but getting out of bounds. Marcus Landers, the junior running back, picks up 4. We'll see if they get the snap off in time, and they do not. So we head to the 4th quarter. A 3-possession lead for the Stanford Cardinal at home, hosting Utah at 17-0. And the last time Utah was down here, they missed a field goal attempt off the left upright. It's a 3rd and 6. Throw into the flat, and Drake chopped down short by Marcock. They nearly found it there, about 2 to 3 inches short. 1st and goal. They're going to motion to the left-hand side, or right-hand side. Hand it off, Shaughnessy. The pressure comes from the left-hand side and gets the stop. And they do lose about half a yard there. Motion again. They've ran this play several times. Thad Smith read it. Actually, no, that was senior who got back there. But it was the freshman and Pashal who makes the tackle. Empty set forced on 3rd and goal after they lose about 2 to 3 yards. Throw to the flat and caught. Abraham gets the touchdown. Just sat too far off in coverage. Utah finally break that goose egg here. Make it 17-7. About 7.25 minutes left. But with the running game well established, this is where you expect Coach Barry to start his early 4-minute drives. Dog, the running back with several lead blockers, shakes off one, and he's going to pick up about a gain of 8. Haven't seen as much from him in the second half. He's still looking to hit that century mark. With a 2nd and 2, Draft keeps it. He's got the 1st down. And this is really where you expect him to take control of the offense, but he actually exits the field here, actually goes all the way to the right-hand side. It's Dog in at quarterback as he takes the direct snap, a limited gain. A little bit of an interesting call there from Bearington to break that out at this point of the game. Inside 5.5 minutes, it's a 2nd and 8. Big block comes in from the receiver who motioned in. Good cut from Dog. He's got the 1st. And he needs just 14 more for the 1st down, but getting a break here as it is Thompson checking in. He hasn't got anywhere near the same amount of carries this year. He takes a handoff here behind a big block from Enrique Heath, the All-American guard. That defender just got clobbered. And now we see a change happening here. Draft with the play clock down to 1. He gets the ball snapped. Looking to take a shot downfield. It's Lanier. And it's a touchdown for the Cardinals. 2nd on the day for Casey Lanier. And several big grabs along the way. After running it, they pop it over the top, and they make it 24-7. Just as Utah was maybe starting to catch their groove. Back down by 3 scores. With a throw to the outside, it hits the grass. Haven't seen a throw like that from Halma since the 1st drive. 2nd and 10 now. Sampson with the quick rush. I guess he decided never mind, or maybe he got yanked backwards. There is a flag down in the backfield. It was on the left guard, so no idea why Sampson decided he didn't want that sack. 2nd and 20. He's had a sack every game so far this year as Drake picks up about half the yards needed. Going to be hurry up here for the Utah Utes. A 3rd and 11. As it stands right now, they got 2 spread to either side. Stepnoski out at the slot left side. Sampson, he's held up. Great blocking. Eventually it breaks down, but getting to the outside, Halma slides down with 4. And again, they'll get right back to the line. Another opportunity to get a stop here for the Cardinal defense. They need a little bit of some rush this time. Sampson forces the early throw, and it's broken up downfield. Turnover on downs. Cardinal can head on out. They start inside the 30. 3 minutes left. Montrell Dog still looking for that 100-yard rushing. Down the middle he goes for 6. And he needs just 10 more yards, and he's done it on 15 carries. It's been a highly efficient day for the Stanford running game. Picking up a decent block there. However, the gap closed before he could burst through. 2-minute warning arrives, and a 3rd and 2. A full house backfield here, motioning around as the tight ends. They hand it off Montrell Dog. He's got the first down to the 15. And he's just 2 yards away as we move inside a minute and a half. Handing this one off, Montrell Dog. He's got the century mark with that one. And coach will let him celebrate on the sidelines as he takes him out 103 yards. Thompson comes on in. Play clock down to 1. They hand it off. He cuts back for a short gain. Now what should be the final play here. In fact, they don't even have to snap it, but it looks like they will. Triple option, and ball comes out late. Scooping it up is Enrique Heath, or actually no. It was recovered by Utah as the final second ticks off the clock. A little bit of a bad stat to pad there, but Stanford, they pick up the dub. 24-7, a dominant showing. And Casey Lanier, he shows that, hey, maybe perhaps I should be in the starting 3 at receiver. He had a big game today. 2 touchdowns, 1 short, 1 deep. A couple big grabs along the way. Overall, the offense just looked refreshed out there. Defense, they got back to what they do best, which is shutting down offenses. And Utah had a really good offense heading into this one. And despite picking up the injury, Sony Fotu does win Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week. 1 sack, 3 tackles, 3 TFLs. Plus, with many key recruits coming to visit this week, we land Rico Body, the number 5 corner. And to pair with him, we land Connor Lane, the number 6 corner, coming out of Richmond, California. Sticking to the defensive side, Juan Lawton, the number 1 pass rusher off the right-hand side. We also land the DT Maurice Alexo, the 4-star gem. And pairing right with him, Brian Manuel, another 4-star gem at DT. But we also had some love from the offense. Pete Morton, the 4-star center out of Henderson, Nevada commits, and Doug Barkow, the 4-star gem out of Bellflower, Cal, another center. And then to help out with some blocking and maybe even catching, Sterling Babineau, the fullback. But no, all commits this week were good commits. Jerry Boudreau does not end up committing to us. Instead, he stays in Tennessee. He just goes from Nolensville to Knoxville and joins the Volunteers. We also are in a very close race, one that we may not win, as Ted Reisner here, the left end, is very close to committing to Ohio State. We do have a visit with him in week 7. If it even makes it to that point, he's very, very close to becoming a Buckeye. We are on top here for Kari Madu, who just happens to be one of the few players who we have not scheduled a visit with. So let's get him scheduled to come in during the Oregon week. It looks like Pro Potential is his best option. And looking at the rest of the board, in fact, he was the only one that we did not have a visit scheduled with, who we have not had a commit from. But we are very close to landing a lot more players. Kafka, he is another receiver, 6'5", 198, an athlete, so perhaps he could play elsewhere. We got Josh Biggums, who is favoring us. He has a visit week 8. Manu Cave, one of the cornerbacks, trying to add to that list here. We have a visit with him in week 8. Joseph Henry, the outside edge rusher, week 5. So he nearly committed, but he wasn't quite sold yet. We'll probably land him next week. Diablo, the guard, we're in a very tight battle with. He has a visit scheduled in week 11. We have him coming to town this week, so that means we really need to pick up the dub. We'll talk about who that's against soon. Sorensen, the number 1 recruit in all of college football. He's a quarterback, a field general. We have him coming this week as well. He might commit. We talked about Reisner. We talked about Madu. So we're doing very well in recruiting. And considering we have less than the amount of guys we have on this board here leaving, we're going to be probably done with recruiting early on this season. But with our long stretch of home games underway and Pac-12 underway, we have an opportunity here at home against the Colorado Buffaloes to get some revenge from last year, one of the few losses we had last year that really messed up the early part of our season. We have not played well against Colorado. I would like to dominate them at home. Now, they are not the same team. They're at 84 overall, 86 offense, 84 defense. We should play a much better game, as on paper our defense are 10 overall ratings higher, so expectations are set high. We need to make sure we continue to win these games, not only for conference standings, as we are currently 4th, Cal, Oregon State, and Oregon all above us, but for top 25 standings as well. We've currently jumped up to 18, Colorado is at 19. We still got a good chunk to climb before we get back into playoff talk, and before even Pac-12 championship talk could happen like last year. So make sure you don't miss out how this team performs against Colorado if we get our revenge. Hit that bell icon on the bottom right or scroll down at the sub button and tap that bell icon so you're notified of when these videos go live. This series every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We got the Jags on Tuesday, Thursday. A lot of big games as we try to fix our season from the early couple losses. We'll see you next time back at home as Colorado comes to town.